To add shapes to Illustrator, I have a couple options. I have a menu of shape tools over here, usually the rectangles at the top. Um, so for our purposes, rectangle, ellipse, polygon are perfectly acceptable, and there's also a shaper tool. I'm going to start with the rectangle tool, or if I type M on the keyboard, I'll get a rectangle, and if I drag, I get a rectangle. In this case, it's black. If I drag while holding Shift, I'll get a perfect square. Similarly, if I come to the ellipse tool, click and drag, I get an ellipse. Hold Shift while clicking and dragging, I get a circle. So holding Shift will make a perfectly symmetrical in all four directions shape. There's also the Polygon tool, which by default, well, I'm making a triangle, and here's why. Because I came up to my, if I click with, here's what I'm doing. I'm selecting the Polygon tool, and then rather than clicking and dragging, I'm just clicking on the page. I had already created this I had changed my settings to be 3 sides, so it made a triangle, and that's how you make a triangle. But if I make this 6 sides, or 5 sides, or 65 sides, if I make it 6 sides, I'll get a hexagon. So those are the simple shapes I can work with. If you want to work with a pentagon too, I suppose you can. But those are the shape tools. There's also the shaper tool, which is designed to be a little more friendly towards people working in Illustrator on an iPad, say. So in this case, with the shaper tool, if I draw kind of a circle, nope. Well, if I draw a rectangle, I'll get a rectangle. If I try to draw an ellipse, I hopefully get a, yep, there we go. If I draw a better circle, I'll get a circle. I can draw a triangle, triangle. So you get the idea. I can actually do a hexagon with this, so it's a little tricky. Here. Nope. Yeah, so it depends on how big you're drawing things. You can get a hexagon, but using either the shape tool or the shaper tool will get you started. Now, each shape that you draw has either a fill or a stroke or both. It can also have neither, but for us to see it, it needs to have a fill and a stroke. So I can change, the easiest way to change the fill color is to click on this box up here. I'm going to change it to red so we can see. The stroke color is black. I can also change the width of that stroke, so I can have either a really thick stroke, or I can also choose to have no stroke at all. And if I want to swap the fill color and the stroke color, I can just click this little arrow over here, and that flips them both. There are other ways to change the color, as long as I've got the fill color in front over here versus now the stroke is in front. That will determine what color from my swatches. In this case, because the stroke is in front, I would be changing the stroke color. If I come back over here with the fill in front, then I would be changing the fill color. Whoa, if I have it selected, I would be changing the fill color to black. But again, click here to swap the fill and the stroke. I can also add strokes and fills up here, and I can control the width of the stroke once I select things by using the menu up top.